Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going deep beneath the surface of your everyday human experience. We're going to uncover the invisible, interconnected biological forces that are literally dictating your stress levels, your cognitive longevity, and even how fast you age. Get ready, because we're about to decode a hidden operating system that's running inside you, right this very second.
So, you gotta ask yourself, what exactly are these invisible forces shaping the quality of my life every single day? Well, to answer that, we have to look way past the standard, honestly, kind of exhausted advice on diet and exercise. We need to investigate something called the autonomic nervous system. Think of it as this master network influencing how your heart beats, how your body repairs cells, and basically how you perceive reality. But to truly understand why the system is breaking down for so many of us today, we actually have to look backward. We have to look at a totally forgotten survival mechanism.
Section 1. The Evolutionary Stress Paradox.
Okay, picture a gazelle in the wild that just narrowly escaped a cheetah. Once it's finally safe, what does it do? It instinctively goes through this violent, full-body shake. It's not just shivering. This is a highly organized physiological reset. It's literally metabolizing and burning off those residual stress hormones. But what about modern humans? When we get stressed, we experience the exact same chemical surge of adrenaline. Yet we're socially conditioned to suppress this healing reflex, right? We view trembling as a sign of weakness. So a massive critical question emerges here. What happens to all that unreleased survival energy? Where does it go?
Trauma researcher Dr. Robert Scare provides a pretty startling answer. He explains that by stopping our bodies from naturally discharging this intense survival energy, we literally freeze that hyperarousal right into our physical tissues. The external threat, like a crazy deadline at work or somebody cutting you off in traffic, it's gone. But your internal biology believes it's still fighting for its life. It locks you into this silent, exhausting state of chronic hypervigilance.
Section 2. The Vagal Nerve Blueprint.
To make sense of this, Dr. Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory maps out this hidden architecture for us. He reveals that our nervous system essentially operates in 3 distinct evolutionary gears. At the top, you've got the ventral vagal pathway. This is our baseline. It's where we feel calm, socially connected, and where active cellular repair happens. But under threat, we drop down a gear into the sympathetic circuit. That's your classic fight-or-flight mobilization. And if escape totally fails, we plummet into the bottom gear, the dorsal vagal pathway, which initiates a primitive, full-system shutdown or freeze response.
The master switch controlling all these shifts is something called the vagal brake. When we feel safe, this brake rapidly modulates our heart rate, beat by beat, keeping us physiologically perfectly calm. It's literally like having your foot gently resting on the brake pedal of a car. But under chronic, suppressed stress, this brake is entirely withdrawn. Your nervous system gets trapped in a perpetual survival loop, just bathing your cells in inflammatory hormones. So, if the nervous system is stuck on high alert, where in the physical architecture of your body is all this tension actually hiding?
Section 3. Unlocking the psoas muscle.
The answer is actually buried deep within your core. It's called the psoas major. This is a massive, deep core muscle connecting your lower spine directly to your legs, and it acts as your primary evolutionary fight-or-flight flexor. The millisecond your brainstem senses danger, it bypasses conscious thought entirely and commands the psoas to violently contract, pulling you into a protective fetal position. It physically locks that high-voltage defensive charge deep into your center.
And here's where it all goes wrong for us. Because we refuse to naturally shake off our daily stress like that gazelle, this massive muscle just remains chronically contracted. And this triggers a devastating interconnected cascade. This unresolved defensive energy warps your posture, it forces you into shallow breathing, and it directly suppresses your vagal tone. Your contracted core is essentially acting as an alarm bell, continuously sending danger signals back up to your brain, which actively accelerates systemic aging. It is a vicious cycle.
Section 4. The somatic tremor reset.
Fortunately, human biology is an absolute masterpiece of recovery. We can manually activate our body's innate reset button through something called tension and trauma releasing exercises, or TRE for short. Here's how it works. By deliberately fatiguing the lower body, we safely induce the myotatic stretch reflex. This produces a gentle, involuntary tremor that ripples straight up your central nervous system. As you shake, you're sending a profound, undeniable signal of safety right back to the brainstem. The brain finally realizes that threat has passed, it slams down the vagal brake, and initiates a massive hormonal calm down.
And honestly,
Here is a truly staggering scientific discovery. Research reveals that vibrational stimulation at a highly specific frequency, between 50 and 150 hertz, which exactly mimics these natural neurogenic tremors, actually mechanically relieves pain and stimulates deep tissue healing at a cellular level. Let that sink in for a second. It is a purely physical release, triggering an absolute biological miracle.
So you see, this isn't merely about relaxing some tight muscles after a hard day at the office. This mechanical cascade literally alters your entire internal chemical profile. It physically downregulates the HPA axis, which is basically your body's main stress factory. It flushes out chronic inflammatory cortisol and replaces it with recovery-oriented chemicals. It's a process so powerful, it's actually been shown in clinical trials to dramatically reduce PTSD symptoms.
Section 5. The Unified Biology. The most fascinating part is how this single mechanical release creates a ripple effect through your entire biological trajectory. By releasing the psoas and resetting the autonomic nervous system, somatic tremors create a profound shift, most visibly seen in your heart rate variability, or HRV. If you don't know, HRV is the literal time variation between your heartbeats. In the scientific community, it is widely viewed as the ultimate biomarker of your central autonomic network. It's a direct window into your body's flexibility, your emotional resilience, and your cognitive longevity.
When you have low HRV, your body is totally dominated by sympathetic drive. You are stuck in fight or flight, locked in a trajectory of chronic inflammation and accelerated aging. But by utilizing somatic shaking to shift into high HRV, you achieve parasympathetic dominance. You unlock deep sleep and active cellular repair. Clinical trials involving veterans with PTSD and patients with Parkinson's disease demonstrate that raising HRV through these physical interventions can literally shift a body out of inflammatory decline and right into active regeneration.
This brilliant mechanism illustrates a profound, undeniable realization. Your long-term health is not just a collection of separate, isolated habits. It is the emergent result of a deeply interconnected biological web happening every moment of every day. Just think about it. A single muscular release in your core alters your nervous system. That alters your hormones. That lowers your inflammation, which literally rewires decades of your future health outcomes. It's all connected.
So now that you can clearly see this hidden operating system running beneath the surface of your life, you're faced with a choice. Will you allow socially conditioned, suppressed tension to dictate your biological aging? Or are you ready to engage your vagal brake, literally shake off the stress, and unlock your body's incredible innate capacity to heal? The control panel is inside you. What are you going to do with it?